I have not spoken, I think, at all, and if I have mentioned, it's been very limited, on the Alex Rodriguez situation in Major League Baseball. But now that the suspension has been handed down and confirmed by the arbitrator, this is a fascinating case study. Not the substance of the suspension. That's not the way Rodriguez and his lawyers tried to handle this is just, folks, it is one of the best teachable moments I could have come up with to show you just how much image, media presence, and handlers and buzz have come, how far those things have come in trumping substance. Now, in this case, Rodriguez was ultimately done in by the substance. I don't mean that as I didn't mean that as a pun. I'm talking about the substance of the reality of the story. That was a faux pas. That was an absolute, total faux pas done in by the substance. Well, certainly his head picked up. He started laughing. You really realize what you said there? It's fascinating. Rodriguez and his lawyers tried to win this in the court of public opinion, which didn't have a say in what was going to happen to him. The court of public opinion was not present when the arbitrator conducted testimony, gathered evidence, and heard both sides present. And by the way, speaking of that, Rodriguez didn't even present. He and his lawyers walked out of the arbitration hearing and went right to the media to deny and lie and attack. And I tell you what, it's almost as if Rodriguez's lawyers were studying the way the Clintons went after Ken Starr and the legal system during the Lewinsky circumstance. The mistake they made was thinking that, A, they could win in the court of public opinion when they couldn't, but that even if they had won in the court of public opinion, it wouldn't have changed anything. And to me, it's fascinating. It tells a lot about where our culture is and where our society is and how what's real isn't. And how reality gets covered up and masked and camouflaged so that people at the end of an ordeal don't know what's what. And the media is part and parcel of this. Now, in this case, the sports media despises Rodriguez for whatever reasons. I mean, some of them are obvious. But the sports media has had it in for Rodriguez as one of this guy suspended for forever. So in this case, the media was not going to be moved or persuaded to think otherwise. But it was a total waste of money is the point. Rodriguez, I don't know how much he has spent on lawyers, but it all was wasted. And it was all spent on things that in reality didn't matter. He still is suspended. He's going to now, they say, take this to a federal court. You know, I don't know who's running this strategery, but these lawyers, they're basically picking Rodriguez's pocket. An arbitrator, there's no judge that's going to throw out an arbitrator's ruling. The arbitration process, which has been agreed to by the players' union and the owners in baseball, has been set up specifically to avoid legal skirmishes in courtrooms and this kind of thing. And all a judge has to do, if a judge even wants to entertain this, all a judge has to do is say, well, Mr. Rodriguez, I don't see anywhere here a denial. You say that you've never failed a drug test. But I don't see a denial here. I need you to swear. I need you to sign a sworn affidavit that you never took any of these drugs. And he can't do that because then he opens himself up to perjury and the Martha Stewart result. So it is apparent to me that Rodriguez thinks, or his lawyers think, or a combination of the two. And this is what is fascinating to me. It is obvious that Rodriguez is attempting to salvage or to maintain or maybe enhance or promote his reputation in the post-ban era so that he might have some kind of a financial future after all this is over. But it's mind-boggling to me that this entire route has been taken because it's been to avoid the reality. He could have made I'm convinced that Rodriguez could have made a deal early on and reduced the number of games. There was I think, an openness to a settlement, but Rodriguez instead decided to go scorched earth on everybody else. And there was no way that theory and strategy was going to change the outcome of the reality of what happened, i.e. he's been suspended, he's out of baseball. He's down $25 million minimum. The Yankees don't have to pay him. So he was scheduled to make $25 million next. He's out that. He's out whatever it's cost him with the lawyers so far. And all of this, it seems to me, has been done so that when it's all over, Rodriguez isn't hated in the eyes of the public. Seems to me to have been the only purpose of the strategy here. And one of the techniques that was used was to try to portray Rodriguez as the victim. And I'm sure, these lawyers that he's got, they're Joe Tacopina and so forth, these are big Democrats. They're typical leftist trial lawyers. And I'm sure that they fully embraced in their own lives this victim strategy, that there is a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, the victim rainbow. And they've tried to make Rodriguez a victim here in all of this for the purposes of salvaging his reputation in the eyes of the public. For whatever purpose that holds, I don't know. But they never did deal with the substance of that which threatened Rodriguez and his supposed love of baseball and pursuing his continued dream here. The whole thing is mind-boggling. You know me. I'm the mayor of Realville. I don't live in images. I don't make up images for myself. I don't try to craft images or anything similar to that. I mean, I'm who I am, do what I do, and the chips fall where they fall. And I don't try to massage or change public opinion about me. I know I can't. You just got to be who you are and let the chips fall. Now, this has been, to me, fascinating to watch. The only winners here are the lawyers, and that's financially. The lawyers are not even winning in the sense of coming out with great reputations for strategy and victory because nobody won here on the Rodriguez, unless you want to count the lawyers in their back pockets. So we'll spend a little bit more time on that. This is the overview here of the circumstance, and it could be any story. It's not that it's Rodriguez and baseball and performance-enhancing drugs. It is rather the strategy and how it's used and what that tells us, or rather what it tells me that I can then impart to you about our society, because that matters to me. I cringe every time I acknowledge that there are low-information voters. I don't want there to be low information. I mean, I know there are and there will be, but I'd like to chip away at that.